Okay, I'm gonna introduce you to the Speedball linoleum cutter, and they're inside of this guy here. There's a lot of different tools, so then they all function as different things. So this is a little tiny piece of linoleum that I've just blocked out as far as where I'm actually going to cut away. The black is what I'm gonna save. So it's just cut from a huge piece of linoleum. This guy here is a table thing. It basically helps you control your cutting so that you're cutting away, and if you slip, you're gonna go into this and you're not gonna go into your hand or however else you'd hold it. It makes it easier to do. So if you have like a really big piece, it makes it so that it has a wedge holding on to the edge of the table. Let me show you how to open this guy up. So I actually put this one on already, but if we open up the back, we have a bunch of different tools. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 tools. This guy here is a V gouge because it looks like the letter V. This guy here is called a U gouge because it looks like the letter U. So this will take out larger chunks. This is a splicing tool. So it's kind of like an X-Acto knife. It's where you want to like outline something. And then this is a really, really small V gouge, and this is a smaller U gouge. Okay, so you've got different sizes. The other end, the end that has the writing on it, it says linoleum speedball cutter on it, that's what goes into this here. Okay, so when whatever tools that you are not using, you are going to put inside in the back here. Okay, because these little tiny pieces can get lost really easily, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of our materials. So this guy tightens and unscrews, loosens, and that's how you get these things off. Once in a while, this will get stuck. So what you can do is you can take it off completely, and then these little guys will drop out. Kind of looks like a bullet. And then you want to put it in so that the round part sticks out. And then screw it back on. So I'm going to start with the splicer here, just kind of just like a knife or X-Acto knife. And I want to loosen up this enough to fit this guy in here. I want to be careful because these tools are sharp. So there we go, it slid in. And then I want to tighten this so that this piece doesn't slip around. Okay, and what I'm going to do first is I never cut anything towards my hand either direction. So I want to make sure that my hands are completely out of the way. So as I'm doing this, what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to press down and outline this heart. And notice how I'm turning this so that this can happen. Okay, so I'm never cutting towards my body or my hand. So my hand is far out of the way. And it doesn't matter that I'm cutting this because that's going to get cut off anyway. So I just don't want to make sure that the design that's in black is the area that I am not making a mistake on. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So basically what this does is it makes it easier for when I am scraping out the linoleum or cutting the linoleum, that there's kind of like a wall built between. So again, I have to unscrew, and this guy is not really releasing. So again, sometimes that happens. Just sort of unscrew it, and then you can screw it back in. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the smaller U-gouge, which a U-gouge will take a larger area. The V-gouge is something that's more for a sharper angle. Okay, and then I'm gonna put my little splicer tool back in here. And now, again, I never have my hand in front of what I'm cutting. It's always off to the side. So I kind of just wiggle it down. And it should be pretty deep. You can see I'm cutting pretty deep. Okay. You don't want to cut all the way to this stuff over here. But you do want to cut enough so that your ink will not get into that layer. Again, the one rule is to never have your fingers in front, so they're always behind the blade. And I'm actually gonna leave a little bit of a border on here, just to give it some texture. Okay, I'm not cutting too close to the heart. I'll do that with my V-gouge, which serves a little bit more with details. And then I can always shift this. So I'm going right up to where my splicer tool was. Always making sure that my fingers are completely out of the way. That's the important part. So this thing kind of becomes a wedge, so you can put some pressure. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you like right in here what I would do. I'm not gonna carve the whole thing for you. So I'm going to, this one really sticks, doesn't it? There we go. Make sure that tightens back up so we don't lose these two parts inside. And then I'm gonna get out this little tiny V-gouge. Put the rest of these guys back in. Tighten it up again. Unscrew enough for this guy to fit in there. Tighten it up so it doesn't slip around. And now, what I can do, again, making sure I never have fingers in front. This little tiny tool is a lot more precise than that bigger U-gouge. So you can scrape away areas that are a little bit harder to get to, little detail areas. Oh, that's the bell. Okay, I can also bring it along this line if I want to. Again, I'm always shifting this so that I'm never have my hand in front and it's never an awkward position for myself. So again, I just slipped right now. Boom, I just hit here instead of my fingers. Okay, and then, you know, I could even carve a design into this heart. Like pie. Again, always make sure your fingers are out of the way of the direction that the blade is going. That is the most important lesson. You will slip your blade at some point during this, and you will hurt yourself if your hand is in the wrong place. Just constantly turn it. So this little tiny V-gouge can get a lot of little tiny details in here. Okay, so that's how to cut the linoleum. Again, you just want to make sure it's deep enough so that your ink will not be inking anything that you do not want ink on. And that's why we blocked out wherever we want to keep in black, so that we can see when we carve away, the black will disappear, and that's what it's going to end up looking like in a print. Now, if you end up doing letters, this is just like a test piece. What I should have done was made all of this backwards, because if I go to print this, it's going to have the I here, the heart here, and the U here. And if your letters, for example, like a C, so if I did a C like this direction, for example, it's going to end up printing backwards. So it's going to end up looking like a backward C. So you want to, if you end up doing some letters or something, just remember it's going to be the opposite or the mirror image. Okay? So this is just a little test piece. You can play around with a test piece if you need to before you carve your linoleum block. Okay? Cool.